A five-star round-out to the year for Bayern Munich at the Allianz Arena. One of the goal scorers, Alphonso Davies, here he is speaking to Archie and Arne after the game.
Alphonso, a very Merry Christmas.
Merry
to
Christmas
be a
to you
Bayern player on a night like tonight. Talk me through that game, first of all.
We know that Leipzig is a good team. We know that they're close to us in the table, and we wanted to win this game. Despite what happened last game against Mainz, we wanted to come back and show that we have more in the tank, and that's what we did today.
Arne.
It's actually quite impressive. Every time you lose a game, and this happens just like rarely. So you got back very strong, and today it's the same, very dominant game. How come? Do you need every once in a while a little setback in order to take the next step?
Obviously, no. Nobody likes to lose, but this is football. Things happen. Anybody can beat anybody on their good day. I think we just lost lack of concentration in the Mainz game, and we realized that every game we have to show out, and we have to show up, and that's what we did today, and we're happy to get the 3 points.
And how Christmas for Alphonso Davies means?
With family, I'm happy to get my goal. Last game of the year, and leave with a happy face to go see my family.
Here's how things are looking in the table. This was obviously the first game of match day 15. The rest of the team still to play this weekend, but Bayern Munich will finish the year top of the table, whatever happens. Such has been the top of the table sides in the Bundesliga this season. That's how things are looking there. As for Leipzig, they're staying fourth as it stands. Archie Rinaldi is with us. He was at the game, as you saw this evening. Perfect way, Archie, for Bayern to end the year and go into the holidays.
Kate, in so many ways, because had they not won tonight, had they even lost to RB Leipzig, then the gap would have been 3 points between RB Leipzig and Bayern, and it would have left a bit of a cloud over what Vincent Kompany's done so far, which is actually revive the mood in a big way. And for the likes of Leroy Sané, Alphonso Davies, Joshua Kimmich, Konrad Laimer to be getting on the score sheet alongside Jamal Musiala, I think is a bit of an antidote to the accusations of this team just being only about Jamal Musiala and Harry Kane. But it is built on an immense team spirit and on an immense effort in pressing, where it seems like there is a swarm if you're an opponent, and it's very difficult to escape that. And so for the system to be the biggest winner today is a very big thing for Vincent Kompany as well, when there have been accusations of, okay, but have Bayern been doing enough in the big games this season? Against Aston Villa and Barcelona, they wilted, going out of the DFB Cup to Leverkusen here the other week as well. This was a very big answer and a very good way for Bayern to round off the year.
Yeah, absolutely. If ahead of the game, you'd even said, Ale, that this was a really important match for Bayern, given that they just had their first loss of the league season last time out against Mainz, and given that this was the last game before a 3-week break.
Yeah, I thought, given the context of the game, and you just mentioned the defeat against Mainz, but on the whole, on the totality, I really thought that this was the most important game of the season, of Bundesliga season so far for Bayern Munich. And it really, and Archie just alluded to it, in winning today, you do a couple of things. Well, you feel great about yourself. You enjoy your Christmas break. Everything is great. Everything is awesome. We're wonderful. We continue to build this goodwill and this joy and peaceful feeling about Bayern Munich. Right? That's what you do by winning. And by winning, you also avoid not only the cloud that Archie's talking about, but you also avoid the doubt and the stress and this team and the questions that haven't been asked about Vincent Kompany for a long time. They would have been asked once again, is this the right guy? Those questions have gone away, and they've gone away because the team has done well. But if you start to struggle, those questions will always come back up until there is some tangible proof that indeed this team is a serious contender. Not only for Bundesliga, I think they're going to win the league, but are they a serious contender in Europe as well? And those are the expectations of this club. If you go and lose this game against Leipzig at home, having lost to Mainz, and now Leverkusen play against Freiburg, and if they win, now the difference of what seemed to be a title race that was already gone now would have been 1 point. You avoid all of that speculation, and you avoid sitting on that speculation and negativity for 3 weeks. 3 weeks of nonsense it would have been for Bayern Munich. Hence why it was so important to not only beat Leipzig, but beat Leipzig in the manner in which they did.
Archie, given how recent seasons have gone for Bayern, will the Bundesliga be enough? You just mentioned the Pokal. They're already out of that. It's been a bit of a rocky road so far in the Champions League. Can they push in the Champions League this season?
They can, and they have to, because the Champions League final is here in Munich. And after what happened in 2012 against Chelsea, it is still a very sore point for the Bayern Munich hierarchy and for Bayern Munich fans who have gone through enough painful defeats in Champions League finals down the years, whether it was 1999 against Manchester United in Barcelona. In the 80s, people will think back to what happened against Porto as well. But I think what happened against Chelsea really topped it all off. And there is still very much a feeling that they have unfinished business. That's a lot of pressure for Vincent Kompany to take on. And particularly when it comes to where this team is coming from in the position it was last season, even if they reach the semi-finals of the competition, as we've seen come out between the lines, at least in the press, it was not a happy camp under Thomas Tuchel. But there is a greater sense of unity, and the way that this team is working together, if enough players are staying fit and the right players are staying fit at the right time, managing the workload, I think, is a big thing for big clubs this season, then I think they are going to be in the conversation. And reaching, I think, the semi-finals at least is something that has to be on the cards here. The Bayern hierarchy have already been talking about it at the AGM recently, how it's not about it just being a final in their backyard, it's about winning the title of the Champions League this season. So Bundesliga would be good after it going to Leverkusen last season, but the Champions League would be a very big cherry on the cake.
They are 7-1, tied for 5th favourites in the Champions League. Are they capable of winning it this season?
Well, yes, but that's a loaded question. Yes, are they capable? Yes, Bayern Munich can win this competition. But if they're going to win it, you're going to need lights-out performances from players like, I'm not going to say Harry Kane, I'm not going to say Jamal Musiala, I'm going to say Dayo Upamecano and Min-Jae Kim. They have to be lights out and consistent with their work in moments of high pressure in order for them, for Bayern Munich, to be able to advance in the latter stages of the competition and win it. I don't question at all the togetherness of this team. And if you needed any evidence of the togetherness, we saw a little something that most people would ignore or not pay attention to in this game against Leipzig. 84th minute, they're winning 5-1. The game is already decided. It's already decided. It's out of question. Leipzig win possession of the ball. They're going with a meaningless run down the left-hand side that if you are a lesser player, you just let that happen. If you're Bayern Munich, you just kind of sit behind the ball. Eventually, you'll regain possession somewhere because Leipzig didn't prove that they were good enough to break through you. Jamal Musiala runs from his center position at least 30 yards to go and challenge the ball on the sidelines, to go and deflect a pass so that Bayern Munich can regain possession. Again, 84th minute, already winning 5-1. You don't do that unless you have bought wholeheartedly, with your heart and your soul, into the philosophy and the requests and demands made by Vincent Kompany that we're going to press and we're going to press higher up the field. And you don't do that unless there's a togetherness on the team that we're all going to do this. And that's the only way that Bayern Munich actually wins Champions League, is that they continue to press the manner in which they have together and they cut out the mistakes of Min-Jae Kim and Dayo Upamecano.
And continuing the hard work from Jamal Musiala, obviously so much talk about his importance to this team, particularly of late, Archie. What's the latest on his contract situation? Is it positive news for Bayern?
So Max Abel, the chairman of Sport, was speaking at the pre-match press conference alongside Vincent Kompany and said in quite crude terms that it's not like the club can just give away money. And he's talking about the variety of contract situations that there are at Bayern to be resolved here, whether it's Joshua Kimmich, whether it's Leroy Sané, and indeed Jamal Musiala, which I think is the big one for this club because it's about a statement being made, not just in terms of who he is as a player, but how much money Bayern would have to lay down. And things are still up in the air. The signs have been from Bayern that they have been confident of completing that contract deal. And I understand why if you look at the options for where Jamal Musiala could go, I think that Bayern is still going to be the best place for him to shine as being the number one player in the years to come. But it is still unresolved, and I think giving fans a little bit of a queasy feeling, the prospect that he may not be here, because when you see what he does, not just on the ball, but off the ball, the way that he is able to just creep up on opponents and yoink the ball away from them, he has all the facets of his game in such a good place right now that I think he's got very good cards when it comes to saying to Bayern, you're going to have to break the bank to keep me.